30 years ago, there was a gentleman by the name of Howard Britton. There's a company called Star Power. He was part of the Tom Ferry group, that whole thing. Floyd Wickman, Dave Beeson, all the old guys. Most of them are gone, but some of the sons have taken on the teaching to be one of his speakers. And in the process of that, I had learned how to do the D.I.S.C, and I've done this in front of parts of crowds and all that stuff. You guys, the only way you get better at this is if you practice it and if you play with it and you do it among each other. When I had 40, 50 people at one point, and we had in my company, and I decided to go to a boutique after 2008 and 2011, and then stayed at that until EXP 3 years ago. The best thing I've ever done in my life. I don't know why it took so long, but in D.I.S.C, the thing to understand is it's like it's constantly growing. You're constantly getting better. Tonality is a huge point in talking with your clients. Huge, huge point. Remember, you're going to learn today, you have two personalities you tested as, your primary and your secondary, your inner self, okay? You are who you are. You can't change who you are. My easiest way of understanding is that when you have different roles in life, you have your personality and then you have your role, which is your personality is really your identity, who your true self is. What roles do you have? Give me some suggestions of what roles you could have in life. Anybody? Caitlin, what role do you have? Parent.
Wife.
You have wives, boyfriends, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, cousin, mentor. So let's put this in another way. When you come to work and you walk in the door to EXP Integrity Group, what is your role?
The Grand Poobah.
The Grand Poobah.
Like that.
We're going to put the poop in the group leader, all right? You're in charge of the whole thing, Char. So here's what it is. When you come into the office, you put the realtor hat on. You're wearing a hat. You're wearing realtor, I'm part of the Integrity Group. Right? That's your role. You're there to sell real estate. If you put another hat on, that's a little difficult, isn't it? So if you're trying to play mom or trying to be brother or sister or trying to play friend to somebody who's blowing your phone up because they're having a crisis, while you're trying to play realtor, does that work? No. Agreed? Let's visualize it this way. How many people have been to Disney World? You all been to Disney World, or at least you perceive you've been to Disney World. When you go to Disney World, you can go in the gate and you can go left and you can go right. So if you go into the gate and go left and you go in a little bit, you end up going to an area where there's a gentleman, a guy named Mark, or it could be Mary. I don't care who it is. And they get to play the role of Goofy. Love Goofy. And don't go around, right? So question is Mark, when he gets in the costume, playing Mark, or is Mark playing Goofy? Playing Goofy, right? He can't change roles. So why, when we go to work and we go into the Integrity Group to sell real estate, do we change our roles? Our role is realtor hat. So let's go back a step. Let's go back to the entrance. So let's go in and turn right. As we turn right, we go into the area of Cinderella. Mary's playing Cinderella. Mary had a horrible morning fighting with her kids, but then she gets into her outfit and her role changes to be Cinderella, who is flowing and beautiful and all this stuff. She may feel ugly inside, but her role tells her she can't, correct? What is the challenge that we all face? We try to be something more than we are at all times. We try to multitask. I have learned, per Mrs. Lurch, 37 years, I cannot multitask. I am a male. Guys, sorry, ask my wife, Linda. She will tell you we can't multitask. We might think we can, but we can't. Ladies, how many do you believe the guys can't multitask? Raise your hand. We cannot, right? I agree. So think about this next time when you're changing your role. You come into the office, you're playing realtor, and somebody distracts you, and you decide to be another role. You end up being a Goofy to the left, to the right, Cinderella. You're a Goofy Cinderella. You can't be both roles at one time. You can only be one thing. So next time you're trying to multitask when you're supposed to be working, think about it, giggle. You're being a goofy Cinderella. Okay? So that is where your role is going to come in when you're working. And your role is to play the role. People like to mirror and work with people like themselves. Your future, you can give yourself a raise of 50%. 50% for no additional cost. Just working with people the way they want to be worked with instead of the way you want to be worked with. And the way that you learn that is how to read their personalities and or also ask, and I'm going to give you some tips on that. But you can give yourself a minimum 25 to 50% raise working with people the way they want to be worked with. All right? So we talked about our D, we talked about our I, we talked about our true identity, who we are, which we've already discussed, and we've talked about our role, what we play when we do it. Remember, each role has a different personality. Do you think a police officer plays really well as an I personality when he's pulling somebody over? What role do you think they're playing out of the two we just talked about? A D. Dominant, to the point, not really caring about the feedback that you're going to give that you were speeding and you had to go to the bathroom. Sorry, not my problem. Right? All right, so we're going to go on. Everybody understand the D and the I? Everybody understand role, identity, personalities?